My name is Serena. I'll be your therapist today. Um, what do you like to be called?
Jake.
Okay. Well, Jake, it's very nice to meet you. I'm very happy that you have chosen to come in for therapy. Um, do you want to just give me a brief overview of what you are here for?
Uh, Depression.
Okay. Okay, we can talk about that a little bit more later. The good news is that CBT is proven to be very effective with um, overcoming depression. So the first thing I want to start out with today is just to tell you a little bit about what my role is as a therapist and what you can expect coming out of this
Okay.
session. So my role as a therapist is kind of to teach you about what CBT is and give you the coping skills so that you can work through your depression outside of therapy, because the goal is for you to not be in therapy your whole life. The
Yeah.
goal is to help you so that you can go out and help yourself out of your depression. Um, so my role is to teach you about CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, and yeah, help you gain some coping skills and some abilities to help yourself.
Okay.
Um, your role as a client um, is just to talk to me about what you came in for, and really work on uh, these things with me, with CBT, and really work on those coping skills outside of therapy. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing I want to talk to you about is confidentiality. Um, Confidentiality means that whatever you talk about in session with me is going to stay between the two of us, um, with an exception of if I hear of any harm coming to a child, an elderly person, or a person with disabilities, or if I hear that you are going to harm yourself or somebody else.
Okay.
Um, Now, my requirement to report that is if I feel that there's imminent harm coming soon. Like if I really believe that you're going to kill yourself or somebody else. Um, so I do want you to be open to talking to me about any type of suicidal thoughts that you might be having. Um, and anything like that, I want to be able to work through that with you. Um, do you have any questions about confidentiality?
No.
Okay. So I kind of want to go over our agenda with you. It's going to be very similar to all of the rest of the sessions that we'll be having. We'll always start out with a mood check, which will be when I ask, on a scale from 0 to 10, where your depression has been for the past week. 0 being no depression, 10 being the worst depression you've ever had. And yeah, so we'll do that. And then we will do a little bit of psychoeducation where we'll talk about how cognitive behavioral therapy can be used to help you with your depression. Um, we will talk about any type of problems that you want to bring up and work towards. We'll set goals, things like that. Um, we will also um, come up with some homework together for you to work on between sessions. Um, these aren't going to be super strenuous tasks. We'll make sure that they're manageable for you, so that you feel like it's something that you can easily manage, and they're going to be things that are hopefully going to help you towards your goal. Um, and then we will do a little bit of a summary. I'll ask you for some feedback, and that will be the session. Do you have any questions about that? Anything you want to add to the agenda?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So let's do the mood check. On a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is no depression and 10 is the worst depression you've ever had, where would you put yourself on that scale?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
6, I guess.
A 6? Okay. What does a 6 look like to you?
just hard to get myself to get out of the bed and leave my room and
Mhm.
do anything.
Okay. Um, on your worst days, where would you put yourself on that scale?
Uh, I'm maybe an 8.
An 8? What does an 8 look like to you?
I'm just not gonna get out of the bed.
Okay.
I'm gonna sleep and just seclude myself.
Okay. So a 6, you don't want to get out of bed, but you still will and go about your business. But an 8, you just don't. Is
Yeah,
that correct?
yeah.
Okay. How about on the days that you have the least amount of depression? What does that look like?
Uh, when I get out and I go do things, but I guess I just don't really still. I don't feel anything. I don't feel depressed, but
Okay. And where would you put yourself on that scale on those days?
1 or 2.
1 or 2? Okay. Um, how frequently do you feel like your depression gets to an 8?
Uh, I don't know. At least once or twice a week.
Once or twice a week? Okay. Um, do you notice something that happens that causes that, or does it just happen?
It just kind of comes and goes.
Just kind of comes and goes. Okay. Um, do you have any thoughts about death or thinking that death would be better than living or anything like that on those days? No.
No.
Okay. Um, do you have any thoughts that regularly come up on those days when you're feeling really depressed?
I just, I guess, a useless, worthless kind of thoughts.
Okay. So in cognitive behavioral therapy, the goal is to look at our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. And something that all of us do is we have automatic thoughts. And what that is when something happens, that's the first thing that comes into your brain. And often those thoughts are not accurate. And it's important to really challenge those automatic thoughts when we notice them. Sometimes we don't even notice that we're having them. And we'll start to have emotions without even realizing what thought caused those emotions. So, another big part of cognitive behavioral therapy is learning how to recognize when you're having those thoughts. Um, so that way you can catch them um, and really articulate whether or not that is a true thought. It's also important for us to get a hold of what seems to be causing those thoughts, what feelings do we feel when we have those thoughts, because our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all connected. We like to put it in a triangle um, just to make it more so you can see it.
Yeah.
So, when you have the thought that you're worthless or you're useless, what is the evidence that that is a true statement?
Hmm. None, I don't guess, really.
No. Yeah, I would agree with you on that. um, so, just like we did right now, where we just kind of asked ourselves, is that thought true? Is there any evidence that that thought is true? I think it would be really great if in this next week, um, 1 or 2 times during the week when you have a thought like that, if you could write it down and then think, is there any evidence that is there any evidence that this thought is true? Do you think that's something that you could do as homework this week?
Yeah.
Okay. I also want to set a goal with you. What is the end result that you want by the time we're done with therapy?
Uh, I guess just have a little more control over.
Control? Okay. What would it look like when you have more control?
Uh, not just talk myself out of for being able to talk myself out of getting out of bed and doing anything, going to work.
Okay. Um, if we put that on a scale, could we say that a goal would be to bring your average day down to like a 4 on the scale? Something like that? Or is there a different, like, would you rather it be down to a 2 or a 6 regularly? What do you think?
Yeah, 2, 3, I guess.
2 or 3? Okay. So let's just say that that's your goal for the end of our therapy, that you will be at a 2 or 3 most days of the week. That sound good to you as a goal?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are needing to wrap up the session, but as we continue working in the next few weeks, we'll be working to get to that goal, and we'll be using some different coping mechanisms from the cognitive behavioral model. And yeah, so I hope that it's helpful for you. I just want to ask you um, if you would like to summarize what you felt like were the most important parts of the session today.
Uh, I guess just having a goal.
Okay.
That was nice too. I don't have an idea of what we're trying to do here.
Okay. Did you feel like there was anything that could be different in this session?
I guess so.
Okay. Um, is there anything that you want to add to the agenda next week specifically?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Jake. It was great to get to know you, and I'm excited to continue working uh, with, with the CBT with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.